When we surveil and monitor and investigate these folks, we see that they are complaining about not having the necessary ingredients and mechanics to make fentanyl. That is an immediate impact that they haven't complained about in years.
FBI Director Kash Patel says drug traffickers in South America are struggling to find the chemicals used to make fentanyl after the supply from China has run dry. Last month, China issued export restrictions on 13 fentanyl precursor chemicals as part of the recent U.S.-China trade deal. Patel says that this leaves cartels with no other alternatives to produce the deadly opioid.
And that pipeline being shut off is forcing drug traffickers to scramble, which we're seeing, for alternatives. And here's the good news. They know and we know there aren't any. That's why we came up with this list.
As part of the U.S.-China trade deal, President Trump lowered the fentanyl tariff on China from 20 to 10%. And Patel says that this gives the U.S. tariff leverage over China so that they can uphold their end of the deal.
The Chinese Communist Party has not lived up to its promises, whether written or verbal. How can you be so sure that this agreement will be honored by the other side?
Because the Chinese government wants additional tariff relief and that tariff relief to maintain, they are going to have to come to the table and continuously show the results with us. And if there isn't, or they violate that agreement on this particular issue, they know the consequences from the president are going to be severe in terms of tariffs and other matters.
In another development, European companies are increasingly moving their sourcing out of China due to China's export controls. That's according to a new survey by the European Union Chamber of Commerce in China released on Monday. The group's president says in a statement, China's export controls have increased the uncertainty felt by European businesses operating in the country, with companies facing risks of production slowdowns or even stoppages. Out of over 130 companies, more than a third say they plan to work with suppliers outside of China, while most say they're not sure how to respond to China's export controls. In October, China expanded export restrictions on rare earths, batteries, and other equipment. Those export restrictions were placed on pause for 1 year as part of that trade deal between the U.S. and China, and that doesn't just apply to the U.S. markets, but expands into the European Union. Reporting from Washington, D.C., Jack Bradley, NTD News.